going to talk about what is a tall tale. And you can see there's three examples: John Henry, Paul Bunyan, and Sally Ann Crockett. But there are things that all tall tales have in common. First, we're going to look at who invented tall tales. Who was the first person to invent tall tales? Well, they were first told in America by settlers who made their homes in the American wilderness. In those days, people didn't have TV or computers or electric lights to read by. So these stories were made up for entertainment. So here are some famous tall tale characters you might have heard of: Johnny Appleseed, Pecos Bill, Paul Bunyan, Davy Crockett, Sally Ann Thunder and Whirlwind Crockett, Mike Fink, John Henry. So what are the elements of a tall tale? What do they all have in common? Well, all of them have a main character who's bigger than life and has superhuman abilities. They can do things that other people normally can't. And often they can do those things at a very, very young age. There are usually animals as part of the story. Sometimes there are lots of animals in the story. Paul Bunyan, of course, has his ox with him. Sometimes the animals just show up as other characters. Another main thing that all of them have are tons of exaggerations in them. It means things that are over the top, not even possible. They're even beyond the limits of truth. So look for those things in these tall tales. What are things that are happening in these stories that just could not happen in real life? All of them have a main character who has to solve some kind of problem. So there's usually some antagonist or some event or nature that this main character is fighting against. And it usually gives you lots and lots of action while that main character is attempting to solve the problem. They would have had to make them interesting because remember, these stories were for entertainment. So you wanted things that were interesting to keep the interest of the people listening. Usually the plot is funny. You'll find yourself chuckling through some of these tall tales, and usually things happen that are impossible. And in the end, the main character does solve the problem. They overcome whatever obstacle that was in their way in the story. Sometimes they do something for humans that is a great thing, like inventing the Grand Canyon. Sometimes they end in a very happy, funny way. Some of them end in kind of a